Far beyond the orbit of Neptune, the stars looked calm and endless. But something moved in the darkness, something that did not belong to the solar system. A fleet of alien ships entered quietly, hidden in the blackness of space. Their hulls were sharp and long, built for speed and destruction. Their weapons were strong enough to destroy entire cities in a single strike. The invaders had done this before. They had moved from system to system, conquering worlds that could not resist them. Every planet they visited fell quickly. They had no fear, no doubt, and no belief that anyone could stop them. When they looked at Earth from the edge of the solar system, they saw only another weak world waiting to be taken. Their leader, a tall being with 4 bright eyes, stood inside the command hall of the largest ship. His voice carried across the fleet. He told his soldiers that Earth would be theirs, and that the humans living there would not resist for long. They believed him. They had crushed stronger civilizations than this before. But the aliens were wrong. Far away on Earth, quiet eyes were watching the sky. For many years, humans had placed telescopes in orbit and built powerful scanners on mountains and deserts. At first, these tools were made to study stars and planets, but soon they became part of something bigger. They became the first shield of Earth. One night, in a small observatory hidden in the mountains, a young scientist named Myra noticed something unusual. A cluster of faint lights was moving near Neptune. At first, she thought they were comets or asteroids, but the movement was too smooth, too controlled. She checked again and again, then sent her report to the Global Defense Network. Her signal traveled quickly through secure channels until it reached a secret underground center. There, a group of generals and scientists gathered. At the front of the room stood Arun, a strategist who had been warning for years that one day an enemy might come from the stars. Now, at last, his fears were real. The generals asked for proof, and Myra's data was shown on large screens. The alien fleet was slow but steady, moving toward Mars. The soldiers in the room fell silent. They all understood what this meant. The visitors were not explorers. They were not friends. They were moving in attack formation, heading toward Earth's neighbor before striking the blue planet itself. Arun looked at the map of the solar system and spoke firmly. They are not here for peace. If we wait, they will reach Mars, build a base, and then strike Earth. We cannot allow that. But the choice was not simple. Humanity had never faced an enemy like this. Their armies were designed for wars on Earth, not for battles in the cold void of space. Many leaders hesitated. Some wanted to prepare defenses only on Earth's surface. Others argued that the world could not risk showing its secret weapons too soon. Still, the decision had to be made. After long hours of debate, the Council agreed that Earth would not wait to be attacked. They would strike first. It was a risk, but it was the only chance. Meanwhile, high above the atmosphere, the alien fleet moved forward with confidence. They believed no one had seen them. They believed their plan was perfect. They believed humans were blind and weak. On Earth, Myra stood on the balcony of the observatory, looking at the stars. She felt both fear and wonder. Somewhere out there, ships filled with unknown creatures were coming closer each hour. But she also felt pride. Humans were not blind, and humans were not weak. The world had been divided for centuries, yet now it would stand as one. In the underground center, Arun looked at the glowing map. He did not see only danger. He saw opportunity. The aliens thought they would catch Earth unprepared. They had no idea that humans had been working for years on weapons hidden in silence, waiting for a moment like this. The fleet would soon pass Jupiter and move closer to Mars. Time was running short. The countdown to humanity's first war among the stars had already begun. The aliens were coming to conquer Earth. But the humans were waiting. The alien fleet moved forward, steady and unhurried. Their destination was Mars, where they planned to build a base before striking Earth. They believed their plan was simple. They would arrive, set up command posts, and then unleash their weapons. From their point of view, no one could stop them. But deep beneath Earth's surface, in a secret command center hidden under layers of rock, humanity's leaders gathered. Generals, scientists, engineers, and strategists sat around a long table. On the walls, giant screens showed images of the alien fleet. Numbers scrolled across the screens, showing the distance shrinking every hour. The room was tense. No one had ever faced a problem like this before. Wars on Earth were fought with tanks, planes, and ships, but this was different. This was a war in space, against an enemy no one had seen before. At the head of the room stood Arun, the strategist who had long warned that Earth must prepare for dangers beyond the sky. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed the weight of responsibility. "We cannot allow them to reach Mars," he said. "If they build a base there, Earth will be trapped. Every city, every nation, will be in danger." Some generals disagreed. One older officer shook his head. "Our armies are made for Earth. We have no fleets, no starships. We should wait, prepare defenses here, and fight if they land." But Myra, the scientist who had first spotted the fleet, spoke up. Her voice was firm though she was younger than most in the room. "If we wait, it will be too late. Mars is not far enough to protect us. Once they are there, they will control space between Earth and the rest of the solar system. They will strike whenever they want. Earth will have no chance." The room fell silent. Everyone knew she was right. Humanity had to act before the aliens reached Mars. But the question remained, how? Then the screens changed, showing hidden projects that had been prepared in secret for years. On the moon, railguns were buried deep inside craters. They could fire metal projectiles at unbelievable speed, strong enough to pierce through heavy armor. In orbit, thousands of satellites circled Earth, many disguised as harmless communication tools but holding hidden weapons inside. And in secret hangars, experimental drones waited, machines powered by nuclear engines, designed to travel far beyond Earth's skies. The leaders looked at one another. The truth was clear. Humanity was not as unprepared as the aliens believed. For years, nations had feared each other, but they also feared the unknown. So, quietly, they built defenses not for themselves, but for the planet. Arun stepped forward and pointed at the screen showing the alien fleet. "We will not fight them on Earth. We will not even fight them at Mars. We will strike before they know we are ready. Our advantage is surprise. They think we are weak. That mistake will be their end." Some of the officers hesitated. The plan was bold, almost impossible. But slowly, heads nodded. They knew there was no other choice. Earth would stand together. For the first time in history, every nation would fight as one. Preparations began at once. Orders were sent to activate the hidden railguns on the moon. Drone fleets were released from underground hangars, rising into orbit with silent engines. Satellites were reprogrammed to create a shield of false signals, a trap to confuse alien scanners. In the control room, Myra worked without pause. She directed the drones, testing their systems and preparing them for battle. Every movement had to be perfect. Arun stayed by the large screen, watching the alien fleet move closer with each hour. He studied their formation, their speed, their possible tactics. He was already planning counters for moves they had not yet made. Outside, the world above continued as normal. Most people on Earth had no idea what was coming. Children played in parks, markets were full, and the streets were busy with life. The leaders had chosen not to spread panic. They wanted humanity to fight with courage, not fear. Meanwhile, the alien commander on the largest ship gave orders with calm confidence. His soldiers prepared their weapons and adjusted their course. None of them expected resistance. To them, humans were small, simple creatures who lived on a fragile planet. They believed Earth would surrender as easily as others had. But if the aliens could have seen inside the hidden command center, if they could have seen Myra's steady hands or Arun's sharp eyes, they would have realized the truth. Humanity was not waiting to be conquered. Humanity was preparing to fight. As the hours passed, the tension grew. The alien fleet was now close to Jupiter. Soon, it would reach Mars' orbit. Time was running out. Arun stood silently before the screen. When they cross into Mars space, he said, we strike. Every person in the room understood. The decision was made. Humanity would not wait for the enemy to land. The battle for survival would begin in space, and it would begin soon. The aliens were coming to conquer the Earth. But the humans had already chosen their path. They would meet the invaders before Mars, and they would show them that Earth was not weak. The countdown to war had begun. The alien fleet moved forward like a wall of steel. Their ships glowed with faint light, carrying weapons that had destroyed many civilizations before. To them, Mars was only a stepping stone. Earth would be theirs soon after. They believed no one could stop them. But Earth was ready. Hidden projects, built in silence over many years, were finally awakened. The world had always argued, always fought over borders and resources. Yet in secret, leaders and scientists had prepared for something greater. They knew one day an enemy might come from the stars. Now that day had arrived. On the moon, buried under gray dust and deep craters, enormous weapons waited. They were railguns, machines that used magnetic force to fire projectiles faster than anything fired on Earth. A single shot could cut through the hull of a starship. The aliens had no idea these weapons even existed. In Earth's orbit, satellites circled quietly. Many looked like ordinary communication devices, but inside them were hidden systems for war. Some carried powerful lasers strong enough to blind alien sensors. Others held jammers that could break signals and confuse enemy navigation. Together, they formed a net across the skies. In secret hangars across deserts and oceans, drones powered by nuclear engines were released. These machines were small compared to alien cruisers, but they were fast and clever. Their wings glowed with heat as they broke into orbit. Each drone carried weapons sharp enough to slice through metal or explosives strong enough to tear apart engines. Myra was in charge of these drones, controlling them from the underground command center. She watched each one rise on her screen, her hands steady as she gave commands. Arun studied the alien fleet carefully. He noted their formation, the distance between ships, the rhythm of their movement. He saw how confident they were, traveling in perfect lines without fear of attack. They do not expect us, he said quietly. That is our advantage. The council listened as Arun explained his plan. First, the railguns on the moon would strike from far away, showing the aliens that Earth was not blind. Then the drones would rise to attack the enemy's engines, breaking their order and scattering their ships. After that, the satellites would spread false signals, making the fleet believe they were surrounded by more weapons than truly existed. In this chaos, the humans would strike again and again. The generals nodded. The plan was bold, but it carried hope. Humanity's survival rested on using surprise and creativity. Against the strength of the alien fleet, these were the only weapons that mattered. Meanwhile, on the alien flagship, the commander walked through his hall with pride. He looked at the distant light of Mars growing larger every hour. He imagined his soldiers landing, building towers, and preparing the final strike against Earth. Reports from scouts showed no resistance. The humans were silent, just as he expected. The commander did not know that the silence was a trap. In the underground center, Myra gave the final confirmation. "Drones are ready," she said. Her voice was calm, though her heart beat quickly. Arun placed his hands on the table and looked at every person in the room. "This is our moment. The aliens think we are weak. Let us show them who we are. A signal was sent across the skies. The moon railguns unlocked and prepared to fire. The first drone squadrons adjusted their course toward Mars orbit. Satellites moved into new positions, waiting to release their false signals. Outside, the stars were quiet, but Earth was no longer passive. Every hidden weapon was now awake. Myra focused on her screen. One by one, the drones showed green lights, ready for combat. She whispered to herself, "Hold steady." Arun studied the map of the fleet, watching as they crossed another orbit. Soon they would reach Mars. Soon the first human strike would be launched. On Earth's surface, life continued as usual. Families cooked dinner, children laughed in streets, workers returned home from long days. Few of them knew the truth. High above, a war was about to begin that would decide the fate of everyone. The alien fleet glided forward, still unaware. They did not know that every move was being tracked, every detail studied. They did not know that humans had turned the entire solar system into a battlefield. Arun gave the order. Prepare the first strike. The room grew silent. On the moon, magnetic coils charged with energy, humming like thunder in the dark. Inside her control station, Myra tightened her grip on the command stick. Drones adjusted their wings and engines, waiting for the signal. For the first time in history, humanity was about to fight in the stars. The aliens had come to conquer Earth. They believed humans were powerless. But hidden in silence, humanity had created weapons of its own. And soon, the invaders would learn that this world was not as weak as they thought. The countdown had begun. The alien fleet approached Mars with steady confidence. Their ships glowed with cold light, engines burning like distant suns. The commanders inside their armored halls believed the humans had no chance. To them, Earth was a quiet blue world, fragile and unprepared. They expected no fight. They expected only surrender. But deep in the darkness between Earth and Mars, humanity was waiting. On the moon, the railguns hummed with rising power. Magnetic coils built up energy, shaking the ground beneath the gray surface. In hidden bunkers, soldiers stood ready, watching their screens with sharp eyes. Then the final signal arrived from Earth's command center. Fire! The first railgun roared in silence. A metal projectile left the barrel at impossible speed, faster than anything the aliens had seen before. It cut through space like a streak of light. Moments later, it struck an alien cruiser. The impact tore through armor and split the ship in half. Fire and debris spilled into space. The alien fleet froze in shock. For a moment, they did not understand what had happened. Their sensors showed no enemy ships nearby. They could not believe a shot had come from so far away. Then the second railgun fired, followed by the third. More alien ships burst apart, shattered before they had even prepared their weapons. Panic spread across the alien lines. The commander shouted orders, trying to restore control. The ships moved into defensive formation, weapons ready. But that was the moment Myra's drones arrived. From behind Mars, swarms of small machines shot forward. Their engines glowed as they closed the distance with incredible speed. The aliens tried to target them, but the drones moved too fast. They broke into groups, spinning around the larger ships, cutting at their engines with sharp weapons and launching explosives at weak points in the armor. Inside the command center on Earth, Myra's hands moved across the controls. Every drone answered her touch. She guided them with calm precision, striking where the alien ships were weakest. On the large screen, the battle came alive. Alien ships burned, drones flashed past like swarms of fireflies, and railgun strikes continued from the moon. Arun watched closely. He was not only looking at the battle, but also at how the aliens reacted. Every move, every order from their commander, became part of his plan. He predicted where they would turn and sent drones to block them. He guessed when they would fire and used satellites to blind their sensors at the exact moment. Step by step, he pushed them deeper into confusion. The aliens fired back. Beams of energy cut across space, destroying several drones at once. Missiles exploded, shaking Mars' orbit with light. One railgun shot missed and spun into the void. For a moment, it seemed the aliens might recover. Their ships were still larger and stronger. But humans adapted quickly. Myra split the drone swarms into smaller groups. Instead of attacking together, they moved in unpredictable patterns, forcing the aliens to waste fire on empty space. Arun ordered the satellites to send false signals, creating illusions of more weapons in hidden positions. Alien scanners showed enemies that did not exist, and their formation broke apart. One alien captain cried out in anger as his ship turned to chase a phantom target. In that moment, a drone slipped behind him and dropped explosives into his engine. The ship exploded in silence, a ball of fire tearing it apart. The battlefield around Mars turned into chaos. Alien cruisers tried to regroup, but the railguns kept striking, one after another. Drones darted between ships, leaving trails of light and destruction. Satellites blinded their eyes. Human strategy outpaced alien strength. On Earth, the command center was filled with tension and hope. Soldiers shouted updates, scientists checked numbers, and leaders watched in silence. The world above their heads was fighting for survival, and every decision mattered. Myra kept her focus, though sweat formed on her forehead. She felt each drone like an extension of her own body. Every movement she made saved lives. Arun stood beside her, eyes sharp, voice firm as he directed the battle. Do not let them recover. Keep them off balance. Every second counts. The alien commander slammed his hands against the control panel. His fleet had never faced such resistance. On other worlds, enemies had fallen within hours. But here, before they even reached Mars, his ships were being torn apart by a species that should not have had such power. He did not understand. To him, humans were supposed to be weak. Another railgun fired. Another alien ship was gone. The commander shouted for retreat, but his ships were already trapped. Drones swarmed their engines, railguns cut through their hulls, and false signals sent them spinning into confusion. The fleet that had entered the solar system with pride was now breaking apart in fear. The battle had only begun, but already the truth was clear. The aliens were not the hunters here. Humanity had taken that role. As the last line of alien ships tried to escape Mars' orbit, Arun gave one final order. Do not let them leave. End it here. And so the battle raged on, the first war in space, where humans proved to the universe that Earth was not a world to conquer but a world to fear. The battle around Mars raged with intensity. Alien ships moved frantically, their weapons firing beams of energy that lit the darkness of space. Explosions flashed as railgun projectiles struck, tearing apart hulls and scattering debris. Drones darted through the chaos, small but deadly, striking at weak points and confusing the alien fleet. Inside the command center on Earth, Myra's hands moved quickly across controls. Every drone responded to her touch. She split them into smaller groups, each with its own mission. Some attacked engines, others disabled weapons, while a few created distractions. Every movement was precise. Every strike counted. Arun studied the battle as numbers and images scrolled across his screens. He saw patterns in the alien responses. Each time the invaders tried a new tactic, humans adapted immediately. They did not panic. They did not hesitate. In space, creativity and speed had become humanity's greatest weapons. The aliens had no experience with such strategy. On every world they had conquered, enemies had surrendered or fallen quickly. Here, they faced humans who thought differently, moved faster, and found ways to use the environment to their advantage. Every miscalculation by the aliens was met with a counter, every assumption was turned against them. An alien cruiser fired a powerful beam at a drone squadron. Myra watched as the lead drone split into dozens of smaller units, disappearing from the beam's path. The aliens aimed at the wrong targets, wasting precious energy. Arun instructed satellites to emit jamming signals. The alien sensors became confused. Their ships collided with each other as they tried to regroup. One alien commander shouted orders, but his crew could not follow. The drones moved too quickly. Railgun projectiles appeared without warning. Explosions erupted near their engines. Ships that had once moved in perfect lines now drifted in chaos. Arun gave another command. Use the moon railguns to target clusters. Keep them from forming ranks. Seconds later, the moon's hidden weapons fired again. Projectiles streaked across space, striking groups of alien ships. Some were destroyed instantly. Others were crippled, unable to maneuver or fire properly. The aliens began to lose control of their own fleet. Despite the destruction, the aliens tried one last move. They aimed all their remaining weapons at a small group of drones. They hoped to destroy them at once and regain the advantage. Myra watched calmly and adjusted the drones' paths. The small ships twisted and turned, splitting into smaller squads, dodging beams and striking alien engines at the same time. A large alien cruiser exploded, sending fire and debris across the battlefield. Another was disabled, spinning in space with sparks flying from its hull. Every moment of adaptation showed the aliens that humans were not weak. Every second of ingenuity proved that Earth was not a planet to conquer easily. Arun noticed another opportunity. The aliens were overextending, trying to attack all directions at once. He directed drones to push ships toward false signals created by satellites. The fleet scattered, breaking formation. The aliens tried to regroup, but humans had predicted this move. Railguns fired at the largest clusters. Drones struck at the engines of stragglers. The alien ships were trapped in a web of human strategy. Back on Earth, Myra felt both exhaustion and satisfaction. The drones she controlled had destroyed more than she could count. But she knew the battle was not over. The aliens still had ships capable of fighting back, and she had to be ready for every move they made. In the alien flagship, the commander's confidence was gone. His eyes moved across broken displays, showing ships exploding one by one. He could not understand how a species they thought was weak could cause such destruction. He barked orders, but the remaining ships lacked coordination. Every attempt to fight back was blocked by human planning. Arun's voice was steady as he gave one more command. Do not stop. Keep them off balance. Show them that every action has a reaction. The humans continued to push forward. Drones swarmed around damaged alien ships, preventing repairs. Railguns fired at precise intervals to maximize damage. Satellites created illusions of additional fleets. Every alien move resulted in human advantage. By the time the aliens realized the scale of their losses, it was too late. Their ships were scattered, engines crippled, weapons offline. The invaders who had entered the solar system with pride were now retreating toward Mars, but there was no safe path. The humans had anticipated every escape route. The battle demonstrated something important: strength alone did not win. It was strategy, adaptation, and ingenuity that determined survival. Humanity had shown that even in the vastness of space, they could outthink a superior enemy. Arun looked at Myra and the team around her. They expected fear. They expected weakness. They found only humans at their best. We will finish this fight, and they will learn the price of underestimating our world. Myra nodded, keeping her eyes on the screens. The drones continued to strike. The railguns were ready for the next wave. Humanity had turned the tide. The aliens had underestimated humans, and that mistake would cost them everything. The battle around Mars had changed. The humans were not only surviving, they were dominating. The aliens had come to conquer, but they were discovering something unexpected. Earth was full of warriors who would not surrender. The alien fleet was in chaos. Their ships moved unpredictably, engines damaged, weapons offline. The commanders barked orders, but there was no coordination. Every time they tried to regroup, drones struck again, railguns fired, and false signals confused them further. Humanity's plan had worked perfectly. Inside the underground command center, Arun studied the battle with sharp eyes. He noticed something important. The aliens were desperate. They were moving toward Mars with the hope of using its surface as a shield. They wanted to hide behind the planet, repair their ships, and strike Earth from a protected position. This was their last chance to regain control. Arun turned to Myra and the team controlling the drones. They are trying to reach Mars for cover. We cannot let them regroup. We must trap them before they land. Myra's fingers flew over the controls. Drones adjusted their paths, forming barriers in space. Some moved close to Mars orbit to block escape routes. Others attacked engines, leaving alien ships unable to maneuver. Railguns on the moon charged again, aiming at the densest clusters. The alien commander realized too late that their plan had failed. His ships were trapped. Drones swarmed from all directions, striking at engines and weapons. Railgun projectiles tore through cruisers that had survived previous attacks. Satellites continued to create false fleets, making the aliens believe they were surrounded by more human forces than existed. The first major ship exploded in a ball of fire near Mars. Debris scattered in orbit, spinning toward other alien ships. Panic spread through the fleet. The commander shouted orders, but there were too many fires to put out, too many ships disabled, too many signals to track. Arun gave the next command calmly. Focus on their leaders. If we take out the command ships, the rest will fall apart completely. Myra guided the drones with precision. One squadron targeted the largest cruiser, striking at its engine ports and weapons simultaneously. Another fired explosives at control modules, cutting communication between the commander and his ships. Within moments, the cruiser exploded, leaving the alien fleet without coordination. Chaos became total. Stragglers tried to flee toward Mars, but drones blocked every path. Railguns fired at the densest groups, leaving no escape. Satellites amplified the illusion of a massive human fleet. The aliens had nowhere to go. Their strength and confidence had been their weakness. They had underestimated the humans, and now they were paying the price. The alien commander's voice broke with frustration. He could not believe what was happening. He had faced advanced civilizations before, but none had fought like this. None had used intelligence, speed, and creativity to turn the battle so completely. He had expected surrender. Instead, he faced a species that refused to lose. On Earth, Arun watched the final stages unfold. This is it, he said quietly. They are trapped. Now we finish this. Myra's drones converged on the remaining ships, striking the engines and weapons. Railguns fired at clusters that tried to form lines, ensuring no organized defense could emerge. The aliens tried one last desperate attack, concentrating fire on a group of drones. Myra's team split the drones into smaller groups, each moving unpredictably. The attack missed entirely, destroying only empty space. One by one, alien ships exploded. Fireballs lit the darkness around Mars. Debris drifted slowly, spinning and tumbling in silence. The largest cruisers, the pride of the fleet, were gone. The few remaining ships tried to retreat toward the outer solar system, but they were too slow, too damaged, and surrounded by human strategy. The turning point had come. The aliens who had entered the solar system with confidence, ready to conquer Earth, were now defeated before they could even land on Mars. Humanity had proven its skill, courage, and ingenuity. Strength alone had not won the battle. Planning, intelligence, and unity had. In the command center, Myra exhaled deeply. Her hands hovered over controls, ready for any last threats. Arun looked at her and the rest of the team, pride in his eyes. "We showed them who we are," he said. "They came to conquer, but they found humans who would not surrender." Outside, the stars were quiet again. The smoke and fire of battle drifted through space. Mars' orbit was littered with debris, a testament to humanity's defense. The aliens' power had been broken, their fleet destroyed. On Earth, life above continued as if nothing had happened. Yet humanity had changed. The world had faced an enemy from the stars and had not only survived but triumphed. Myra and Arun knew this victory would be remembered forever. Humans had stood against a superior force and had emerged victorious through courage, ingenuity, and unity. The aliens had underestimated humanity, and that mistake had cost them everything. The last alien ships drifted in Mars' orbit, damaged and powerless. Smoke trailed from broken engines, and weapons had long since failed. The aliens who had entered the solar system with pride and confidence were now beaten before they could even reach Earth. Humanity had turned what seemed impossible into triumph. Inside the underground command center, Arun and Myra watched the final moments of the battle. Drones moved among the remaining ships, disabling engines and firing precise explosives. Railguns on the moon fired at the densest clusters, ensuring no ship could survive. Satellites created illusions of hidden fleets, making the aliens believe they were still surrounded. The alien commander's voice was desperate. He shouted orders that could not be obeyed. His ships were scattered, engines destroyed, weapons offline. His pride had been shattered by humans who had fought with intelligence, creativity, and courage. Arun turned to Myra. "This is the end. Make sure none escape." Myra's hands flew across controls. The drones adjusted their paths, intercepting the last moving ships. Explosions lit the darkness as the final cruisers were destroyed. The alien fleet was gone. Silence returned to space, broken only by the faint glow of debris drifting in orbit. For the first time, humanity could breathe. They had faced a superior force from the stars and had won. They had defended Earth without losing a single city, without surrendering an inch of land. The world above continued as if nothing had happened, yet below, in the secret command centers, humanity had achieved something incredible. Arun looked at the maps and screens. "We showed them that Earth is not weak. They believed humans were simple, defenseless creatures. They were wrong." Myra nodded. "We fought together, and we won together. The aliens never expected our unity and creativity. That is what made the difference." Outside the command center, the moon was quiet. Its hidden railguns powered down, and satellites returned to normal operations. Drones returned to orbit, their engines cooling, ready for the next mission if needed. Humanity had used every secret tool wisely, and it had worked. The surviving leaders of the world met quietly afterward. There was no celebration in public, no grand speeches. They had fought in silence and kept the world safe without panic. But in private, there was pride and relief. Humanity had done what no one had thought possible. The blue planet was safe, not because of luck, but because humans had planned, adapted, and fought with intelligence. In the observatory high in the mountains, Myra looked through her telescope. Mars glowed red and cold, scattered with the remains of alien ships. Space seemed calm now, but she knew the universe was vast. More dangers could come. Yet for the first time, she felt humans could face whatever lay ahead. Arun joined her, looking at the distant red planet. "The stars will remember this," he said. "They will know Earth is not prey. Humans are hunters, defenders, and thinkers. We are not weak." Myra smiled, feeling the truth of his words. The aliens had underestimated humans, thinking they were helpless. They had forgotten that humanity could use courage, strategy, and teamwork to face even the strongest enemy. Now, the galaxy would carry the lesson: Earth was not to be taken lightly. 4 days afterward, humanity watched the skies. Telescopes and satellites recorded the remnants of the alien fleet, and scientists analyzed every fragment. The knowledge gained would help prepare for future threats. Yet humanity also knew something more important: they had proven what they were capable of when united. Across the planet, life continued. Children played, markets bustled, and cities thrived. Humanity had survived the greatest threat it had ever faced, and the world was still whole. But the memory of the battle lingered in the minds of those who had fought and those who had planned in secret. The stars were no longer a distant mystery, they were a challenge, and humans had met it. In the underground command center, Arun and Myra stood side by side. "We defended Earth," Arun said. "We showed the universe what humans can do. This is just the beginning, but it is proof that we can protect our world." Myra nodded. "And we will continue to be ready. If the stars bring more enemies, humans will be ready. We will never be taken by surprise again." Above them, the moon was quiet. Mars bore the marks of battle. And Earth shone blue and bright, untouched, a testament to humanity's strength and ingenuity. The aliens had come to conquer, but they had learned too late that humans were not weak, humans were not simple, and humans would not surrender. Humanity had won. Earth remained free. And the galaxy would never forget that humans had faced the impossible and had triumphed.